Nah, not the whole thing. Just the clip. You ever have anything like that odd happen to you there, Grant?
I mean, I feel like that's the joke about Florida is crazy stuff happens. I've never had anything odd happen to me at that club, but at a different club, Gregory's in Florida, I was there. I mean, it was a real perfect storm because I was there. It was the week of spring break and it was St. Patrick's Day weekend. So just people were so drunk before they even came to the show. And this happened during the feature set. So I mean, it's like this is like 30 minutes into the show where you're like, this isn't even at the end. Where the feature had been, this one lady was just yelling all the time, and the feature had tried everything, right? You've seen people where it's like they've asked you to be quiet, they've made fun of you, they've berated you, and none of it's working. And finally he just gets like mad and he's like, shut up, bitch. Just like loses it. And the lady's like husband or boyfriend or whatever stands up and is like, you better apologize. And he's like, I'm not going to apologize. You're being a jerk and you're ruining the show for everybody. And then the guy comes up onto stage and he's like, I'll make you apologize. And I mean, this guy was like pretty big, and I'm somebody that like doesn't back away from a fight. So I was like, oh, this is fun. And I ran from the back of the room and jumped up onto stage. Mind you, I haven't been on stage yet, so nobody knows who I am or anything like that.
Hey, that bouncer isn't that big. Where's this guy?
Yeah. And then the owner there is like, I mean, he's a real small guy. And so then he's up on stage and we're trying to hold this guy off. And then the woman's like, yeah, kick his ass. And the lady that had just been sitting in the crowd next to like the drunk woman just grabs her by the neck and puts her head like down between her legs. Literally just like puts her head down and then leads her out of the club, like bent over, just clutching this lady's neck, and just leads her out of the club. And the guy sees it and he's like, hey, and then follows her out. So like crisis averted. And the lady comes back in and we're like, wait, what are you doing? She was like, I'm an off-duty cop. I just use like a cop hold on that lady. But it was just great. She was just like, and then just let her
show
right
I think
out.
we did together was the famous show where they called 911 on you.
That is right.
Oh, that's so funny because the last time I worked with you, Ahmed, was right after that had happened, and you were telling that story on stage for like
May 2019, Mother's Day, in fact.
All right.
Yeah, Dougie was there. We were sitting in the back of the club, just getting ready to start the show, and then the manager walked up and said, hey, there's two cops outside that want to talk to you. And I was like, oh, what the I started like, you start tracing back, like, did I insult somebody, or like, am I getting Me Too'd, or do I owe tax? Like, you just start thinking like, what are the chances? And then like, what do they want? And then when I went outside and they said somebody called us over a joke you told, I thought this is going in the act.
Yeah, that was.
How could it not?
It was just such a weird thing. I just remember because when the cops came and I was inside at the table and then they were out there and I thought, when I saw the cops come up, and I thought, because you hung out that day at the beach and shit. I said, oh, maybe Ahmed met some cops at the beach and everything. Next thing you know, he
That's
comes.
Probably something I would do is I can invite the cops to the show. Right before midnight, before I went to bed, I posted the video on Twitter of the cops, interviewing me, and I said, I wrote something like, I can't remember. It was something to the effect of like, this happened to me tonight. In the 25 years I've been performing stand-up comedy, no one's ever called 911 on me. Any thoughts? Send. Went to bed, woke up at like 8 a.m. Shit went viral. and then I got a direct message from this journalist at the New York Post who said, can I have your number? I want to call you and interview you. And we want to be the first news outlet to cover this. I said, sure. Called her up, I think that morning, talked to her for about an hour. And I believe it was the next day. It was in the New York Post, and then boom, it just caught fire. Everybody was calling me. TMZ, CNN, BBC News, all the Florida radio stations and news outlets, and we did a follow-up show, and it was crazy.
That was great. The follow-up show, we just introduced them, and now the call heard around the world. and then, but if nobody's heard it, if you haven't heard it yet, you can Google it and listen to the actual 911 call, which is
it's animated as well.
Yeah,
my friend Tom Winkler, who used to be an animator for The Simpsons, made a cartoon out of the actual call, and it's awesome. The cartoons, it's simple, the actual call, and it's funny, if you listen to it very carefully. And the guy gives himself up in the call. I was there with my wife. We get free tickets. We go there all the time. And so we just kind of did it. Captain Brian, the owner, and we sat in his office and looked at the computer and said, who was there that night who got, free tickets with their wife? And it was this one guy. And then I friended him on Facebook.
Did he ever message you or anything on Facebook?
Yeah, he replied. He's like, "Do we know each other?" I'm like, "You're goddamn right, we know each other."